The Constitution gives Congress the authority to oversee the federal bureaucracy. I call that oversight. It's a charge that I take very seriously because every dollar that comes into the federal treasury means one less dollar in taxpayers' pockets. So it's vitally important to have accountability for how the taxpayers' money is spent, whether it's through the recent massive spending programs or everyday purchases made by federal employees as part of their work. So in 2001, I began investigating the abuse of government charge cards at the Department of Defense, not knowing what we'd find. After more reports of charge card abuse at several other agencies as well, I began to wonder how deep the rabbit hole goes. Believe it or not, I've seen cases where taxpayers have been on the hook for sapphire rings, luxury cruises, and even gambling money, all for the personal use of federal employees, not government use. In my investigation, it became clear that the common sense controls to prevent this kind of abuse were lacking all across the federal government. Charge card abuse is a systemic problem in the federal bureaucracy. I could also see that the agencies were not going to fix the problem on their own, and that we in Congress needed to step in, so I did. This week, we took a big step forward when the United States Senate moved to limit further abuse by passing my legislation that would put in place common sense safeguards to protect taxpayer dollars. My legislation requires that all federal agencies establish strict internal controls for government charge cards and create meaningful penalties for those who defraud the taxpayer and violate the public's trust. Some of the practical safeguards include canceling credit cards when employees leave the agency, reconciling charges with receipts like most Americans do, and to make sure that employees can't approve their own purchases. It shouldn't take an act of Congress for the federal agencies to act this responsibly, but in fact it does. And I'm glad to write the legislation and to push for its passage. Now over to the House of Representatives. I hope that the House will take up my bill quickly in order to protect the taxpayers from any further exposure. Bad apples within the federal bureaucracy should not be able to live in the lap of luxury on the taxpayer's dime.